All right, this video is going to start with pivot tables, and we're going to review grouping, which is extremely important when you're working with large data sets. In this spreadsheet, we have the dates listed per day, and to be able to look at months and years and quarters, we need to group the data. So I'm going to go to Insert, Pivot Table. I'm going to put it onto a new worksheet. And over here, you'll see I have the columns available. I'm going to start with that date column, so that's the sales date. I'm going to group that data. I did a right click, and now I'm going to go ahead and select. I can't emphasize enough that it's easier to select everything at once, because if you undo this when you're doing another worksheet, it will undo what you've already got. So you need to do it one time at the beginning, and then they'll all become available, and you can use them on any worksheet in this same workbook. All right, so I have them all selected. I click OK. They're now all created. I don't want all of them, though, so I'm going to take the quarters up. You'll notice that leaves me years. I'm going to move the years over into the column, and then I have the years by the months ready to go. If I take my order quantity, drop it under values, you'll now see I have the sum of the orders based on the month and the year available. All right, so that starts off with a little bit about grouping to allow you to see that grouping the data really does help you quickly and easily see the data from all the different date points of view rather than going through sorting, filtering, especially in large sums of data. I'm going to continue on with pivot tables. And I'm going to show you, this is a data set that is directly from the book. And this data set is about some banking things like type of checking account, when you opened it, those kinds of things. Now, these examples are, again, directly from your book. You do have these sample files in Blackboard. I made them available to you right under book information. So they are Excel files with these examples in them. They're also on the internet. If you look at the beginning of your book, it'll tell you the website. You can go to it and download them yourself from there. This example here I like to show because this shows you the account type, as you can see by the count of the amount. So it gives you count of the types of accounts that. A nice pie chart always makes it easy to quickly see things like I can look at, if I go under analysis, if I click on my chart, I can go up here and see the percentages, different points of view from here. So I could easily say that 30% of the CD accounts, right, are total. So we have 30% of the total. All right, so again, I can do the quick layout. This also will let me change things up this way. I could use just the percents to go with this particular pivot table. So again, I would just like to bring this easy way to look at when you have a whole and you want to see how something's broken down within the whole. All right, the next one I want to show you is this one. Not only can you group by dates, you can group by other things. Like in this particular case, it's grouped by the dollar amounts that are deposited in the checking account. So if I do a right click under group, you'll see that it's grouped in increments of 5,000. So again, not only can you do dates, you can do other things as well. All right, now I want to go ahead and show you another one, which is about spark lines. Okay, and so with spark lines, once you set up your data, whether they're in or out of a pivot table, and I'll show you both, this one is set up as a feeder table. I can do spark lines easy enough by clicking into the place that you want to put the spark line, and then going to Insert. I can do a column chart, and all I have to do is select the range. It's already where I want it, so it's H4. I click OK, and now I have sparklines. Okay, so extremely easy to do. Insert. This time I'll do a line chart. Select the data. Click OK. And again, I can go down and select them. All right, now, you can also do these in a pivot table as well. So I'm going to go back to the sheet that we had created before. This is a pivot table that we created a minute ago. And I could do spark lines here as well on the pivot table. I'll do column charts, select my range. So I'm going to do the years here. I want it in F5, which is correct. And I could run the spark lines. Okay, I will tell you to be careful of grand totals because you want to stay with things that would make sense, like the data from 2008, 9, and 10, and probably not show the grand total against those. Sometimes, again, depending on the question, I mean, you might want to show an individual year against the total of all, and maybe to show a percentage, but typically in a column chart, you would stay with the 3 years versus the grand, including the grand total. All right, so with that, that was a little bit about spark lines and about also pivot tables, a little more examples of those.